magazines. Really think I'm seeing things. Read the line in between. Yellow light, I gotta speed up. Get home to a cold shower. Need that pronto. Look like a rave at the condo. Heck of a night in Toronto. She said, boy, you in Morocco. Pearl white mansion in the top gold. Fill up my cup with the pot, whoa. High off life in the spot, though. Running at the visa, really talking to a real life Mona Lisa. Jesus pieces hanging off the fleecer. So much going on, it's hard to focus on the features. I got too many, I'm going. Too crazy, and I got bad ones and they ready. A good time, so now it's in the way we left at. Can't remember anything, but I know we got lit. Good times. Live in the moment, feel like summertime. Obsessed with nature, not a world mine. The room is spinning, but I feel fine. Oh my, oh
Did we just do all that? Did that just happen? This is how I tell you the market's dead. Literally, for the past 4 minutes I'm talking, you guys didn't hear anything? Woo! All right. Reset. All right, get your stuff together. Wah! All right, good. And it's fantastic. Yeah, it's just great. It's woo! It's fucking phenomenal. All right, we're good. All right, let's recollect. Good morning. Happy Wednesday, aka Hump Day, my favorite day of the week. Welcome back. Hope you had a good morning because I'm excited to be here talking about how slow the market is, right? Talking about how we have one stock that's really stealing the volume right now, and it's going to be really easy to break this stock down today, right? So let's go ahead and dive into it. We got to make up some time. I don't got 4 more minutes to kill. All right, so, and now it's only one speaker. You guys are killing me. This computer is killing me right now. The settings always get jacked up, and I don't know what's going on. Hey, I have my patience right now. I think the universe is testing me, saying, is Josh going to get a little frustrated here? Is he? Is he going to give into it, or is he going to just stay with it and be focused? All right, we're good, guys. All right, we're good. Good morning, everybody on YouTube. Joey, right? Eric, Steve, Parker. If you guys are here on TikTok, we are live on YouTube. I'm actually dropping the stream here. All right, so come over to YouTube. We're live for Free Stream Wednesday. TikTok is getting dropped. So Alpha Day Trading on YouTube. Let's make it happen. Go ahead and in that. Good. You can hear me. Love you. Good morning. We literally can't waste any time. All right, so I'm energetic. I'm fired up for an awesome day. Good morning. I love you all. We're going to freaking crush it today and make it happen. Without any further ado, without any other technical difficulties or just Josh effing up, we're going to dive right into it and talk about what we have going on for today's trading session. Number one, we have RDHL. All right, so RDHL, what is going on right now at this point in time? Well, they were granted a U.S. patent for oral antiviral drug, and the shares are rising. Right now, the stock is up 81% at this point in time. Now, why is this stock just freaking taking on off on that news? It's not like it's the best press release we've ever seen, right? It's not the best press release we've ever seen. It's not like this stock is extremely and heavily shorted. It's not like we have a killer daily chart setup. Why is this stock, in my opinion, really squeezing? Because nothing else in the market had been moving. RDHL rips on up. RDHL pulls back, but RDHL puts in a new high. It didn't rip on up and just start to fade on off like SOBR, right? It didn't just rip on off and start to fade on off, which, I mean, COMS is not really doing anything here in pre-market. SNES, right? Another top gainer. It's not doing anything. ZVO, right? Just kind of fading and falling. ICCM, right? No volume. AREB, right? Look at that. Rip on up, dump on down. So why is this stock really taking on off? Why is the stock on fire? I mean, it's up 80%. It's trading 12 million shares because that's the one stock that didn't just dump on off. It's the one stock that's actually continuing to move higher. And as long as this stock continues to look good and continue to set up for these next legs up and these higher highs and this, great action, this is going to be the number one stock that we want to keep on high watch today, guys. Okay, so again, it's up 81%. This is the one stock where 80 to 90% of traders are right now at this point in time. It's clear as day. You look at the other 10 top gaining stocks, there's nothing there. 80 to 90% of the focus and 80 to 90% of traders right now are absolutely here on RDHL, okay? We're trading 12 million shares. On average, we trade 1.4 million shares. It's a nice lower float stock for being under $1 per share. It's 41 million in float, right? It's not going to take a lot to move this stock. The stock already went from 50 cents all the way up to 88 cents in literally the past 30 minutes. Now, where can we see this stock go? I mean, this stock right now is on fire. This is our number one stock to be watching right at the start of the day. Until this stock fades on off, until this stock dies on off, I don't really have my focus anywhere else, right? As long as there's opportunity and this stock is tradable and it's predictable and it's consistent, why be distracted and why have your focus anywhere else when this is where everybody is at this point in time? When this stock starts to die on off, that's when I think traders start going and looking for the next best opportunity. That's when you look to see if there's any stocks getting halted. What stocks are hitting the high daily momentum scanner? What stocks are breaking out? What are our new top gaining stocks at that point in time? But for now, it's definitely RDHL. All eyes on the stock right at the start of the day. Where can we see this thing go? Well, it's going to have resistance up around $1, right? You got $1 natural resistance. That's one of the strongest levels for a penny stock to break above. And then we just need to look at this daily chart and look left and see where can the stock go before seeing traders really step on in and start to lock in some profits. Well, we have that spiking high at 112. We have those two highs at 122. And then we have the 200-day moving average right around that gap level. There is a teeny little gap here on RDHL from around 148 to 137. That puts you right around the 200 SMA. So those are going to be your overhead targets right now at this point in time. You're just getting prepared, marking up where we could see the stock go. So $1, $1.12, $1.22, and then $1.46. All right, so if we ever get long on this stock and it hits $1, we got to scale out. Right? Maybe we go risk-free at that time. If it ever breaks $1 and hits 112, we got to take a little bit more profit. Hits 129 or 122, we take a little bit more profit. Hits 146, we're thinking about getting all out because that's our main level of resistance for today. Right? So those are going to be your overhead levels of resistance. Those are going to be all of your profit-taking levels for today. Now, where can the stock come back down to? Right? Because you're saying, Josh, the stock just ripped from 66 to 88 cents. Is this a good buy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The stock just ripped from 60 cents, okay, 60 cents, all the way up to 88 cents. That was a 45% move in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. This stock is way too overextended. This stock is way too high, right? It's definitely due for a pullback. If you buy this stock right now, you are chasing this stock. Okay, when a stock moves up more, usually it's 25 to 50 cents without pulling back, you don't touch it. Well, obviously this stock is not really moving 50 cents. It almost did, right? Moved 25 cents. But again, the stock moved up way too quick, way too fast, very parabolic. It's definitely due to pull back. So what we need to do is sit back and wait for the stock to consolidate, wait for the stock to pull back into a strong level of support. And then we just wait for an opportunity to present itself at or near a level of support and a strong buy signal to present itself as well. So where can we see the stock come down to? Well, we're actually trying to hold above that 80-cent level of support at this point in time. Okay, if we crack below that 80-cent level, take a look at your daily chart. You have your 50 SMA right there at 76 cents. So you could see the 50 SMA hold on up as well. But if you do crack below 76 cents here on RDHL, the next most logical area to see RDHL come down to is going to be these prior highs right around 67 cents, right at 67 cents. That also lines up with that prior daily high at 67 cents as well. So what I'm going to do is this solid green line is the strongest level, right? So the solid green line is the strongest level of support. And we can just label it like that, right? Strong support, right? It's number one. Okay, and we're going to show this on the right so you guys can see it. That is our strongest level of support. What's that blue line, Josh? I'm a little confused now. That's our 50 SMA, right? And that's going to be some light support, right? I like to really separate my levels of support and resistance, right? And then what's light support and what's light resistance? What's strong support and what's strong resistance, right? So what we can see here is that was our pre-market spiking high before that massive breakout. It's also that prior daily high here right around 67 cents. That's going to be a strong level of support. These other levels here, these are just light levels. They're definitely levels of support that could hold on up, okay? But they're not as strong as the one right around 67 cents. So if we ever come back down towards around 67 cents, I'm definitely going to be, again, keeping this one on high watch for a possible entry, as that's a very strong level of support. Again, we could hold above 76 cents. That's our 50 SMA. And we are trying to hold above this pretty decent level of support as well, right around 80 cents. We come down here on the daily, we bounce. Come here on the daily, we bounce. On the daily, we bounce. On the daily, we bounce. And then we crack below it. So 80 cents is another pretty decent level of support as well. Where's resistance? $1, then $1.12, then $1.22, then $1.46. Right now, guys, this is the only stock that stands out. It's up 83%. Nearly 14 million shares traded in the past 45 minutes. Nice low float stock. For the price of stock this is, it's a nice low float. All right, it's 41 million in float. It could definitely rip and run even when the market opens. and it has a pretty good press release. One of the better press releases. It's not a fantastic one, but it's pretty darn decent. And again, nothing else in the market is moving right now at this point in time. So that's why 80 to 90% of the focus and why 80 to 90% of traders are just on RDHL at this point in time. And like I mentioned, if RDHL is still the number one stock at 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it has yet to slow down and it's still setting up and it's still predictable, not taking my eyes off this stock. Get to know the stock. Become the stock. Become confident with it. You can trade this one ticker throughout the day and make a killing and make fantastic profits. The second the stock starts dying on off, it's not predictable, it's fading, and it looks like crap. That's when we start looking to see where's the next best opportunity. But I believe that until that happens, this is going to be the stock where all eyes should be on right at the start of the day, guys. Okay? Maybe SOBR moves, right? It's on the back burner for now. Maybe COMS moves. It's on the back burner for now, right? AGFY, maybe it moves. It's on the back burner for now, right? Like I said, until RDHL dies on off, this is the number one stock to be watching right at the start of the day. Now, is RDHL shortable? I'm just curious. It's not shortable, but I'm always curious. If we ever see it rolling on over and it ever starts to become very weak, I always want to know, is the stock easy to borrow, and see if there's any kind of good short opportunities as well. But again, team, right now, number one stock, it's that simple for today's trading session. All right. The SPY and the Qs. We're going to keep it really simple as well because I want to save maybe about 5 to 10 minutes to review some of your tickers that you may be watching if you already have a watch list. Okay? Because if you don't have a watch list, it's RDHL. You got a watch list on stocks that you like and you go through your own preparation session based on what we've taught you, then I want to make sure I have a chance to do some due diligence and look at your stocks as well. The SPY. Two things I want to point out. Number one, we cracked this trend line. Right, so we had our trend line from past Thursday into Friday, almost into yesterday, but definitely here and connected in pre-market. Put in our lower high formation, we cracked it. We just went from the bullish side to the bearish side of the trend line. So as long as we stay below this trend line, we are technically on the bearish side. And I'm looking for a possible put position and to short the SPY on down today. A crack below 367.51, yesterday's low of day, I will be looking to short the SPY down to 361.03 and then down to 357.20. Yes, it's that simple. Once again, we start to crack and we're staying below yesterday's low of day. We have all this room to the downside to 361, and I would simply look to short the SPY on down today into that next level of support. Once we crack and fall below yesterday's low of day, if that happens, right? If we do not crack below yesterday's low of day, and let's say it's really strong and we bounce today, where can we see it go? Well, we'll probably see it come back into this trend line to retest it as resistance, right? That could put you at 371. That could put you at 372, right? I would say this orange trend line would be where the market would come back up to for a possible retest, and then maybe start to see it crack and move on down. But again, if we do hold that 367.50 level of support and we're looking strong and there's a reason to get long instead of short, that's exactly where our next level of resistance is going to be. If we ever get back above that trend line and regain that trend line back up towards around yesterday's high of day at 375.45. So it's a really simple day today with the SPY, and it's very simple today with the Qs as well. The Qs, same thing. Trend line from last Thursday into Friday post-market, connecting Monday, connecting yesterday, connecting today in pre-market, and now we just cracked below it, going from the bullish side to the bearish side. Same thing on the Qs. A crack below yesterday's low of day. I'm looking to short the Qs down to 264.91 and then down towards around 260. Okay, but if we don't crack below yesterday's low of day and we start to bounce, we have a reason to get long, where do I think the Qs can go? Well, back up to that trend line for a retest as resistance, right? Support, it's support, it's support, it's support, it's support. Or below support, we can come back up and test it as resistance, okay? But if we ever get back above and regain that trend line, back up towards around yesterday's high of day, around 277. Very simple day with the SPY, very simple day with the Qs. And I know a lot of you guys are going to ask about Netflix. So here's my 2 cents today on Netflix. Okay. So, yes, it's overextended. Yes, it's due the pullback. Yes, we could see traders and investors locking in profits because we went from 240 to 278. Now we're at 265. We're up 10% on Netflix. And the last time we've seen that kind of move on Netflix, it's been a while. Right? It's been a long time since we've seen Netflix really moving like this because we've been stuck underneath that supply zone right around 248 to 250 for almost the entire year. And we have not been able to get back above that 248 to 250 for a very long time after really bad earnings in April, and the stock gapped down from 340 to that 240 level. So we're in the clear. That's what you got to think, is we are now gapping up above that major level. And so that just gives us this big open window for Netflix to continue to push the upside. Do I think you're going to see profit taking? Yes. Do I think you're already starting to see profit taking? Yes. Do I think you can see a little bit more profit taking at the start of the day? Yes. But overall, I do still see potential for Netflix to move higher as we're gapping above that very, very strong supply zone. And that gives us a big window into our next zone, our next level. And what's our next major level of resistance before there's going to be more sellers present? Well, it's going to be that 200-day moving average at 281.53. So I do believe that Netflix could get to that 281.53. It's actually not 281.53. It's 282.84. 282.84. Okay. And that's where I would look for a short. So for those of you saying, Josh, would I short Netflix today? I would short Netflix today. Only if we see a reason to take a short at or near the 200 SMA, knowing that it's very strong resistance. Would I go long on this today? Absolutely. I would go long because I still believe we have this big open window of opportunity to the upside now that we're gapping up. But I need to wait to see how low it's going to pull back, where support's at, before getting that next leg on up, if we actually get the next leg on up. The market's the market. Netflix can do whatever it wants to do. Netflix can come back down to 213 today. We don't freaking know. But all we need to do is get prepared, do our due diligence, sit back, be patient, strong mindset, and wait for the best opportunity to come to us. And then we're ready to attack it. We are ready to go. We are ready to lock in some amazing profits. So again, looking at even the daily chart going back to 2018 and then looking left, I don't really see any other key levels of support between 250 and that 282 resistance. So right now, let's just wait for some intraday price action. That's really it. Intraday price action. I mean, what you could possibly do is take a Fibonacci retracement, right? Take a fib retracement off this massive move. So go from this low, that swing low, to this swing high. And let's see if this Fibonacci level is going to be honored. I mean, right now, we tried to bounce a little bit off that 23.6, but it wasn't anything impressive. Wasn't anything impressive there. I mean, if we take it off yesterday's swing low to the post-market swing high, that's a much better level. I was taking it off that lower shadow here, but I don't even know if that was legitimate. Is that a misprint? Was that legit? Right? So I'm going to take it off, right? Because that could have been a misprint. You've seen this happen all the time, right? That was probably a misprint as well. So I'm actually going to take it off yesterday's low of day, that swing low, for a swing high here in from post market, and we could see that we did come down to our 23.6, and we bounced, and we just cracked it. Now, where could we come down to next? The 38.2 retracement. Then where? The 50% retracement. So all we need to do is sit back and then wait for good price action to present itself. Market structure, double bottom, some kind of reversal formation, 5-minute doji, great price action, whatever the case is. At or near one of these retracement levels, and that could be our retracement before seeing our next leg up to the 200 SMA, and then we start thinking about a possible short position if we see that strong selling pressure and confirmed price action that suggests it's now time for a short, guys. Okay? So that's my 2 cents here today on Netflix. And then we're just going to sit back on Tesla. Tesla is reporting earnings tonight. I don't expect Tesla to do too much. Those implied volatilities are most likely going to be extremely high due to, yeah, they're at 136%, due to earnings right around the corner. So it may be challenging to day trade Tesla option contracts today right ahead of earnings, and we may not really see a lot of opportunity and a lot of action ahead of earnings either, guys. Okay, so Tesla, just so you know, earnings reporting tonight. As far as any kind of intraday opportunity, I don't really see too much. I'm definitely putting a lot of focus on Netflix, the Qs, and the SPY. Scott, what's up? Good morning. Josh S, what's up? Fear the Gamer. Could you look at comms? COMS? Yeah, comms has support at 9 cents. Comms has support here at 9 cents. You could bounce back up towards around 12 cents, but I mean, it's dumping on off right now. It's just like, you know, SOBR. Does SOBR have potential to run today to the 200 SMA? Absolutely, but it's stuck below a lot of resistance, and the price action doesn't look good. Go take a look at COMS. Does it have potential to bounce here at 9 cents today, back up to 12, back up to 14, and then back up to 17? Absolutely. It has tons of potential, but does it look great? No. Is there a reason to get involved right now at this level? No. But if you start to see some kind of double bottom, you start to see a reversal formation, then yeah, at that point in time, you could jump in at 9 cents, take profits at 12, 14, and then 17, and put your stops below, say, 7 cents if you wanted to. But am I getting in right here, right now? No. Sober, SOBR, am I getting in right here, right now? No, I'm not. I don't see any reason to get involved. It's not the top stock of the day. It's not where 80 to 90% of traders are right now at this point in time. Where are the majority of traders at? What stock is freaking strong, that is clean, that is consistent, that is predictable, that looks fantastic? That's RDHL. And so that's why I want to keep all of my focus here on RDHL. Look at how clean this movement is. Look at how clean that volume correlates with price. Look at how predictable it is. Look at how just simple this stock is. Go look at SOBR. Thing's ugly, right? COMS. Could it bounce? Sure. But does it look as good as RDHL? It does not. Now I want to go where everybody else is going. Number one stock, guys, RDHL. God's saying, I told you needed a new computer. Okay. All right. I'll get a new computer. We're going to open up a donation jar today for our computers. Okay. Everybody's laughing because I'm over here talking. Like, I can't hear a dang thing he's saying. Jeez, I'm just going back now reading all these messages. Just talking to himself. I can't hear anything. Hello. Oh, man. Yeah, we got Corey's jar. All right, we got Corey's jar for a new PC. We got Corey's jar so he can be a coach. And we got Corey's jar. Oh, we got my jar for new PC. No, I'm kidding. We're good. Until the thing actually goes to crap, we're fantastic. All right, man. We got a minute warning. We got 1 minute warning until the market's officially live. We know exactly where our focus should be today, guys. It's all about keeping it simple. It's all about, again, just going where the rest of traders are at, right? Don't overcomplicate things. Eliminate the distractions. Okay? Keep it simple. You do not have to overcomplicate trading. Reason why it's tough, reason why it's maybe hard, the reason why traders lose money as newer traders like me overcomplicate. Simplify the process. Have a good, strong mindset. Be calm, cool, collected, right? The market will provide you with an opportunity. You just have to be patient and wait for the opportunity to come to you. So let's have an awesome day. Let's make it happen. Let's lock in profits the right way. Good mindset. Think like a pro. You guys are on top of it. You guys are going to absolutely dominate it. So let's go ahead and make it happen, guys. Right now, RDHL is the number one stock that I want to be watching right at the start of the day, followed by the SPY and the Qs to see if we ever get that crack on down below yesterday's low of day to enter those possible puts. And then one thing, so you guys know that I really enjoy doing lately, and it may be a little odd and different, but I really enjoy throwing these even out of the gates, right? Right on 3-minute time frames. 1-minute time frames, not a fan. 2 to 3 minute time frames, I've been a huge fan, but at least going into some of these higher time frames, even right at the start of the day, guys. Okay, so we know we have 80-cent support. Where does 80 cents come from? Right, look at your daily chart. Look left. Multiple touches, right? You got multiple touches right at 80 cents. So that's going to be a decent level of support. And then we could come down to that 50 SMA. It could be light support at 76 cents. And we know we have $1 resistance here at this point in time. And again, we'll just watch our breakout scanner as well. Watch the high of the day momentum scanner. And if we see anything else breaking out, anything hitting our high of the day momentum scanner, then guess what? We'll shift our focus on over, especially if RDHL is not providing us with that much opportunity. Okay. So again, we're just calm, cool, collected. Calm, cool, collected. The 3 C's. Calm, cool, collected. We're just sitting back, waiting for the next best opportunity. We may have something on Netflix right around the corner. So Netflix already came down, and I just want to point this out. If you guys do like Netflix, you guys like trading options, Netflix here, okay, already came down. You're out of the gate. Right around its 38.2 level, right? Its 38.2 retracement is at 263.14. We already came down to that level and bounced. We're starting to bounce again. Where's the next area that we could see Netflix bounce at? Well, that's going to be our 50% retracement at 258.32. So if Netflix does come down below low of day and it ever comes down towards around that 258.26 level, I would be looking for a possible entry right around that 50% retracement, as these fib levels have been honored to a T so far, right? Our 38.2 has just been honored here out of the gate. Our 23.6 level was honored here in pre-market. The 50% is the strongest, and that's absolutely a level that I'll be paying strong attention to here on Netflix. So sitting back, being patient, waiting for the next best opportunity, guys. Okay, you're 4 minutes in. 4 minutes in. I know everybody's pumped up. Everybody's eager. Everybody's like, we got to make profits right now. We got to jump on in and just crush it right now. All right, sit back on your hands, guys. There'll be something here. We will make it happen for sure. All right, LMAO halted. All right. Yeah. I think you're right, Scott. I think you're right. I definitely need new PC. The internet port's a little jacked up. Maybe a new motherboard would do it. Just a new motherboard would do it. Josh is halted. Yeah, Josh is halted. No, I had to go ahead and yeah, for some reason my internet port does not work well. All right, so LMAO, what can we see here? We can maybe get a little bit of a halt strategy. I think it's risky, but I want to break down what we have and what we could see here on LMAO. But I do want to point out, very risky. So what we'd be looking for on LMAO would be an open higher out of the halt, right? We were halted at 11.15. We're looking for a gap up out of the halt, a quick drop right to the halt level at 11.15. That's where you're placing entries at 11.15, 11.20, 11.25, right? You want to see it gap up out of this halt, maybe right around 11.40 to 11.50. Could be a little bit higher. Come down immediately to the halt level at 11.15. You're getting your entries, and then you see an immediate spike on up, ideally into halt number 2, right? This is called a halt strategy. Very risky strategies, very risky trades, but very profitable if executed correctly. We were halted at 9:34:03. We'll be live at 9:39:03. So that's about 2 minutes away. We will be live on LMAO. Waiting for RDHL to pull back into one of these key levels for us. Yeah, maybe it is the motherboard. Maybe it is. Because like I said, you got to really shove that freaking Ethernet cable in the back. And even the smallest little, it just doesn't hold it in there and get a good connection. And it's, the motherboard's like 2 years old. So anyway, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. But I appreciate you, Scott. I'll ship you a shirt when we get them. I looked at shirts here over the weekend, and my goodness, they were up there a little bit. All right, LMAO, guys. All eyes here on LMAO at this point in time. I know I said I'm not going to short Netflix until it's up towards around the 200 SMA, but I really like it right here to the short side. Like, I really like Netflix here to the short side. So I am watching Netflix here from an intraday perspective. Again, looking at that 200 SMA on the daily, that could still be a fantastic area to get short. It could still be a fantastic area to get short there on Netflix if we ever get up towards around that 280 level, but that's still pretty far off. And, you know, right now with Netflix, I'm definitely watching it below this 269.17, but we're going live here on LMAO here in a second. We should be live. Right, 5-minute halt puts you at 9:39:03, but we are still halted right now at this point in time. Right, so, okay, cool. This is going to be a 10-minute halt. So at 9:44:03, you should be live here on LMAO. We are getting that decent little pullback right down towards around 80 cents on RDHL. So if you were looking to make an entry 80 cents, what's your target? Back up towards around high a day and then $1. So you have just about 14 cents to 18 cents of profit. So what's your risk here? It's got to be right around 5 cents ideally. Can you risk 5-6 cents and get away with this? I mean, you would probably want to get those stops right under 75 cents. If you're looking to buy it here around 80 cents, you ideally want to put stops below 75 cents. And then you have a 96-cent target, which is your high a day. And then up towards around $1 is your target as well. And that's a decent little 2-to-1 setup if you get your entry right to the penny, right at 80 cents. But right now, I'm not touching it. I'm just watching it. Just kind of talking this one out loud as far as what we have. Maybe you're in it, right? Maybe you're looking to get in it. Maybe you have a plan built. You are sitting right at 80-cent support at this point in time, right? The 50 SMA is at 76 cents. And then you do have a psychological level of support at 75 cents. You would want to put your stops below, a really clean support level. There's your retest of the trend line on the SPY. So the SPY just retested that trend line. The Qs just retested that trend line as well. I want to keep all eyes on the SPY and the Qs right now, guys. All right, remember that trend line that we had? Okay, we just bounced off our support level back into the trend line, and we are hitting it as resistance. If we start to crack now below yesterday's lows, I am 100% looking to get short here on the Qs, and I'm 100% looking to get short possibly on the SPY as well. I'll be looking at the Qs and looking to possibly play an inverse ETF. An inverse ETF. SQQQ. But I want to keep this one on high watch right now as we just bounced off yesterday's lows into our trend line, retesting that as resistance and starting to see the sell-off pretty strong. A crack below yesterday's lows is a confirmation for me to start getting short here on the Qs. And we're going to play it back down into that 266 level. All right, so let's see if we have anything coming on up. I'm also watching Netflix off to the side as well. If we ever fall back below 269. So right now it's between the SPY and the Qs. And then Netflix. But like we said, Netflix looks to be a good long up to that 200 SMA. And I'm thinking about jumping in really quickly here on Netflix as I like this little break and retest back above our 30.82 fib level. So I'm looking for an entry right above 269. Right? So as long as we hold above 269 on Netflix, I am looking for a possible entry, but I am going to sit back and wait just a little bit longer here. But if you see me jumping on in, I'm looking to get in above 269. Stops around 267, 268. And we're looking for Netflix to be able to grind on back up towards around that 280 level. All right, so again, I'm just kind of waiting for the SPY to crack below yesterday's low of day before entering those puts or shorting this. Same thing with the Qs, looking to see if we ever crack below yesterday's low of day before I look to get into the short side. And then Netflix. Okay, Netflix is looking great so far, guys. Netflix looks really good. We open on up, come down to our 38.2 retracement, we bounce. We break back above our 23.6. Now we're above it. Now we are starting to bounce and push. Now we have this big downtrend that we're looking to break as well. So far, we look extremely bullish, holding the 38.2 fib retracement level. Coming up and retesting and regaining the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement level. That looks great. Now we're looking for a break of this downtrend to get long back up to 278 and then 281. So Netflix as well is on extremely high watch at this point in time, guys. So I'm sitting back, being patient, waiting for the opportunity here on the Qs, and then waiting for that opportunity here on the SPY, and then right now Netflix. And that's what you're going to get here, Pablo. Is nothing but knowledge. A lot of it may be confusing. A lot of it may be a little overwhelming. That's normal. Again, this is all foreign to you. But if you have a question about anything, you let me know. You say, hey, Josh, what's a fib? Right? You're like, you keep saying Fibonacci retracement, right? What is that? I'm more than happy to explain it and point you in the right direction so you can actually understand what a fib is. So you get to hear a lot of terms and terminology and a lot of things that may click, things that make sense, things that may not make sense. But that's why I'm here, to back that up with some education to make sure that you're learning something new every single day. But what you're going to learn a lot by watching me trade live is patience, right? How to really be in the market, how to be present in the market. You're going to see some traders, they're like, okay, RDHL down at 76 cents, 76. We want to buy 10,000 shares, 76, and I'm out. Okay. All right. Sober right now. Sober over 327. We're going up to 345, guys. So, and they're all over the place, right? You're going to learn here the right way to trade. Play back. Calm, cool, collected, be a pro, be patient, wait for the opportunity to come to you, right? Really just have a good, strong mindset. That's really what you're learning here in these streams, is how to develop your mindset to be the best trader that you can possibly be. Okay, you're not going to see this a lot out there, is mindset development, trading mindset. But really, by watching me trade live and hearing these conversations and the engagements, that's really what you're doing, is developing a strong mindset without you really even knowing it. You're kind of just rewiring that subconscious and kind of how you think, which goes into how you think, right? And how you react, and then all that good stuff. So LMAO, all right, we gapped up out of the halt. Okay, we didn't come straight down at 11.15. So this is not really a halt strategy, but those halt levels do like to hold stocks up as support. So that could be a nice little support level. And it also puts you right at a 50% retracement. So from today's low to today's high, back down to this halt level on LMAO could be a nice little level of support. Looking to get long here right around 11.15. Put stops underneath of $11. So what? Risk 25 cents. 1,000 shares. It's $250. I would start with 500 shares on LMAO. So if we come down to this 11.15, 11.14 area, the price in which we got halted before the gap up, and we come down, I'm going to buy this at 11.14, expecting this level to hold, expecting that to be where buyers move on in for the next leg up. Where can we see the stock go? Back up to high a day. Where's my stop loss? Right below $11. Okay, right below $11. So you see this solid green line? That's my ideal entry. You see that red line? That's my stop loss, because that's below the halt level. If it falls below the halt level, I don't want to be in this thing, right? Give it some breathing room. My stop loss. I know where I want to get in, and I know where my target's at. So I've just built a trade plan here on LMAO, right? I got a really nice trade plan built here on LMAO. Now, I pulled the trigger a little too early there, and I got a little bit of a high fill. I got 11.36 versus right there around that 11.14. I started to see that drop on off. I start to see 11.20s on the bid. So I just clicked the buy button because we are starting to come down close. So now what I have to do is readjust. What's my cost basis? 11.36. Okay. Stopping out under the halt level. Okay. So my cost basis compared to my stop loss is how much? So again, cost basis, stop loss, 42 cents. I'm okay with that. I was going to go 1,000 shares at 20 to 30 cents of risk, right? I have 500 shares at 40 cents of risk. We're still good. How much can I make? Right? 140. Now, I knew these levels before I got in, right? So I knew these levels before I got in. I knew this was a good setup, right? I know I'm getting in right there around the 11.14, 11.20, okay? I know my stop loss is right below that 1090 area. I know that my risk is about 50 cents, and I know that my profit target is well over a 2-to-1. I'm just breaking this down to explain to you how you build plans. Here's my entry. Here's my stop loss. Here's my target, right? Here's my entry. Here's my stop loss. Here's my target. And that's what you do before you execute and before you get involved in any trade. Okay. Now, at first glance, I know exactly where I want to get in. Okay. I know exactly where I want to stop out. Okay, I know exactly where my target's at. I know this is well over a 2-to-1 setup. I can do this quickly off the top of my head, very fast. It doesn't take a lot of thinking for me to say, okay, I'm long here at 114. I'm stopping out at 1007. You know, how much risk is that? That's going to be about 50 cents. I'm going to round up 50 cents of risk. 1,000 shares, $500. I can make $1.50. That's $1,500. If I go 500 shares to start and I get stopped out, or I'm going to reduce my risk in half. So I'm going to lose about $250 on the trade, but I can always add to it. And if I add to it, my new cost basis would be right here. You see how it just kind of clicks. You're a little bit more efficient with going through this process. It's not as so slow and drawn out. It doesn't take 2-3 minutes to go through and really build these trade plans. From I want to get in here. I'll put a stop loss here. And then here's my target based on the technicals, based on the chart and what the chart's telling me. And then I can go through and assess how many shares do I want to buy to make sure that I don't exceed a certain dollar amount stop loss on the trade. And that's really what it comes down to, is understanding exactly your entry, your exit, your stop loss, the type of trade that it is, understanding the risk, what you could potentially lose on the trade from a dollar amount based on how many shares you buy, and then accepting that risk before you click that buy button. That's how you properly trade. Netflix is still on a grind. I missed that trade all day. I missed that trade all day. From that 263 entry, the 269 back above that 23.8 fib. Man, I hope you guys were catching some Netflix off those fib levels, right? The 38.2 was great. The 23.6 was great. Now the thing's breaking the downtrend that we just talked about, on its way to that 282. Hope you guys are catching some Netflix here, knowing you're going to have a little bit of profit taking at the start of the day, and you'll probably see it grind up to the 200 SMA because you just have this big open window of opportunity to the upside. And RDHL, there's not a lot going on with RDHL at this point in time, guys. RDHL is just giving a lot back. RDHL giving a lot back right now at this point in time, team. All right, you got about 40 seconds left, right? You got about 40 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. If this 5-minute candle closes above the halt level, right around our 50% retracement as well, I'm going to add to this position looking for a bounce. I'd be looking for a bounce here, right? If we close above the halt level, that's right at your 50% retracement. That's telling me that buyers want to keep this above support, and we could see the next candle open and start to bounce a little bit, possibly back up to high a day. And if we start to see that close above that 112, we got about 15 seconds to go. Want to see a nice close above 112, 115. I would just simply go ahead and put stops underneath that 5-minute candle low, right around like 1070. See, you see that? That close? If we can close right above that level, I'm going to add to it. I'm going to look for a little bit of a bounce here on LMAO. Just looking for a small little bounce here on LMAO. Right, now that I'm in this trade a little bit longer than expected, I'm going to have to go ahead and just work with this trade a little bit. I was too busy explaining, right, the trade plan, the in, the out, this and that. Should have been adding at a lower price. Again, now I'm just going to go ahead and try and readjust on the spot and still work this trade the way it should be worked. And if it turns into a loss, it turns into a loss. I'm okay with biting that bullet. I'm okay with, taking that loss. But I should have definitely traded it a little bit differently. But I wanted to take that as an opportunity really explain this trade to you and really break down the thought process behind it. And as far as how we build the plans, why we were taking the trade, all that good stuff. So now we're starting to see a little bit of a bounce here. Got, you know, up towards around 1150. Trying to get a little bit of a bounce off that halt level. Let's see if we can get that nice bounce. You got about 3,000 shares now stepping up there at 1123. You got about 3,000 shares stepping up here. We don't have a huge position. We only got about 750 shares at 1128. The ideal cost basis was at 1112. So we're a little bit higher than where we wanted to be, right? But we see the risk to reward. We see our cost basis is right here at 1128. 1128 cost basis, right? We know our stop loss is underneath these lows, so we're going to go stop loss right there. We know our target's right back up at high a day. So we know that we are risking right around that 50 cents to make potentially $1.50 if this does indeed start to bounce and get the next leg to the upside, right? It may not happen. It may not get that bounce. I'm honestly not really liking it as much as I did when we were looking at it initially because it's taking a little bit longer than I had expected to get that move on up. So from a trade plan perspective, it's a good trade plan, right? Great risk to reward. But from a price action perspective, the price action is really garbage, right? I'm not really honed in on this trade. I'm not focused. I'm not dialed in. Now, me being focused, me by being dialed in, just staring at the level 2 and staring at the time in sales, I'm starting to see this price action sucks, right? It's taking a lot longer than I expected as well. I expected this to bounce. I expected it to come down and then bounce, right? That's how I trade. If I don't see the type of move that I'm expecting in a certain period of time, right? Price action, volume, everything, I will close a position early versus holding it like this. But again, I wanted to utilize this as an example so you guys know that I'm utilizing this as an example to explain a trade idea, building a trade plan, where to take profits, where to stop out, and then again, managing the trade as well. But just so you guys are fully aware, from a price action standpoint, definitely should have been out here. Should have definitely been out the second we weren't getting that bounce that we were expecting. So now moving forward, you guys have a better idea on how to do this. We'll see a little bit better on the execution standpoint and then how I really manage these trades and kind of my focus when I'm actually inside of a trade and when I'm dialed in and when I'm focused. So hopefully that was a little bit of a learning opportunity for you guys here on LMAO. And that's something you got to walk away. So, I mean, much bigger loss than anticipated, 100%. But I'm okay with taking a loss to show you guys and to explain how we go about our trades. So, next opportunity we see, if it's very similar to LMAO and there is that price action that doesn't make sense, we'll more explain price action on the next opportunity that we have. If that price action and that time difference and that time horizon impacts how we should manage our trade in the moment. Right now, RDHL. All right, RDHL just dumping on off here a little bit. So nothing with the spine the Qs just yet. LMAO just gave everything back. There was no love here whatsoever. No love here whatsoever. So we can take that off the watch list. It's a pretty slow morning. SNES. Don't really have too much there. SCPS. Not too much there. CABA. Very light volume on CABA. Yes, I mean, you got like 115 support on CABA with room to 166. Got some room to like 166, but nothing crazy there. Very, very slow day, guys. It was a good day because it's so slow, and it's not like we just wasted, and we would never be a waste, but it's not like we took that 15 minutes of explanation on LMAO, and that 15 minutes took us away from a different opportunity that's really taken on off because there's just nothing happening right now. So I hope you guys were able to take something away from the breakdown there on LMAO. I just wish that there was a little bit more focus on the trade versus breakdown and education to where you could have actually seen me manage the trade, how you should manage a trade. But that was a good learning lesson in itself. When you're distracted, right, and you're not fully focused on a trade, you may exceed your loss. You may not manage the trade that you should. You may miss something that stands out to you that says, hey, get out now before the stock turns around on you, right? So yes, it wasn't managed the right way, but that was a lesson in itself that you could see that when you're not managing the trade the way you should, when you're not focused the way you should be, and when you're slightly distracted, how a little bit of distraction can throw you off your game, which makes a big difference when it comes down to your consistency as a trader. So again, if you wake up in the morning and you're groggy, if you got a lot of distractions going on, phones going off, right? You got emails blowing you up. You got a lot of distractions. It's going to be hard, and you will notice this as you grow into a more successful trader, to really keep that focus dialed in. You got to really eliminate those distractions if you want to be a successful trader. So CABA again, 115 support, room to, yeah, I mean, it could technically get all the way up to that 200-day moving average on CABA. RDHL, the only support that I'm seeing that's still pretty darn strong that we can come down to and bounce off of is going to be that 67-cent level. Netflix still doesn't look all that bad at this point in time. All right, Netflix, missed opportunity. But we're breaking and getting a little bit of a retest of that trend line, and we have a nice pullback, nice healthy pullback. I still like Netflix up towards around the 200 SMA, and then possibly looking to get short on Netflix around the 200 SMA. SOBR, you can take that off your watch list. COMS, getting a little bit of that bounce from 9 cents back up to 12. We'll continue to watch it. Netflix just consolidating sideways. The Qs sideways. The SPY just kind of sitting here sideways. Netflix looking to try and maybe get its next leg up to 283. So, I mean, that's about 10 points away, but that's a pretty big move. That's a long duration trade. That's definitely not something that's going to happen quick. That's going to take some time for Netflix to get its leg on up to around that 282. Right now we're at 274, but I like this pullback into that 20 EMA. It also happens to be the 9 EMA there on the 3-minute time frame. So I'm going to take a small position here with a stop right underneath that 273 low. So if it doesn't really continue to move higher, and this is not our pullback, this is not a higher low, and this is not our next leg on up for this continuation, I'm just going to go ahead and stop out right underneath that low, and then just simply go ahead, look for a flip to the short side, as it's just per a little bit of that liquidity pool, right? Retail traders jumping in, and then boom, dropping it below this low, stopping out retail, providing that pool of liquidity. So again, looking to see if we get a little bit of a drop down to this VWAP, and then look to flip long again here on Netflix. So we're going to cover here right around VWAP. I mean, we're also right off that trend line at the same time. We're also right off that trend line, and that could be an area that we bounce, but VWAP is a better area. VWAP's much better than that trend line. We're looking to see if we get that next little leg down to VWAP at 271.18. I mean, it's about $1 away. Can you see COMS go to 113? Yeah. To $1.13? Yeah, no. I don't see that. I mean, no, it's at 10 cents. Yeah, I don't see this stock. I don't know anything about it fundamentally. If you think that a stock's going to go to 113, which I mean is an area on the daily chart, I mean you're definitely seeing it from a technical perspective, right? You're definitely seeing that level from a technical perspective. But a stock to go 1,000%, you got to have fundamentals to back it up. And I don't know anything about this company from a fundamental standpoint. You gotta know more about the company. How's their revenue looking? What do they got in the pipeline? What's big things they have in the works? What are things that they could do to really greatly drive more interest from a shareholder standpoint, to where you got more people wanting to jump on in and own this, and they're willing to pay a higher price. But yeah, that's 1,000% to the upside. From a technical perspective, I do not see that whatsoever. From a fundamental perspective, there could be something there if you've done your fundamental research on that stock. RDHL, let's please type in tickers in correct ticker format, guys. Thoughts on a possible three-legged pullback short? 5-minute candles. So, yeah, if you were going to get a three-legged pullback on RDHL into the 9 EMA, you could have seen that for sure. You actually saw a little bit on the 2-minute, right? You saw that little three-legged pullback on a 2 into the 9 EMA, and you're starting to see the next leg down. So, yeah, I still see room down to 67 cents is where I see the stock coming down to, is right around 67 cents. Today, I see COMS going to 14 cents, maybe 16 cents, which is yesterday's high a day. So 14 to 16, actually 17 cents. So I see 14 cents, and then I see 17 cents. If it starts breaking 17 cents, we'll go look at our next level at that point in time. We'll go up towards around 23 cents, then towards around 25 cents, then up towards around 29 cents, then up towards around 32 cents, then up towards around 34 cents. Whew. I tell you what, though, guys, you guys are lucky. I would say y'all are lucky to be part of this community. And I know you guys know that. You're like, yeah, I'm fortunate to be here. I love being here. I'm not even going to talk about it, but I had an enlightening conversation few days ago, last week. I've been having a lot of enlightening conversations last couple weeks, as you guys know, recruiting other mentors in higher quality communities to bring their focus here, yada, yada, yada. And my goodness, I was shocked to hear the charge of memberships, what they do, the value and the time they give to their community. It's nuts. I was just like, wow, we do 10 times more than that for 10 times less. That's insane. I'm just thinking about that because I'm over here like trading, right? I'm trying to take on my trades and educate at the same time, and it's still that balance. That's tough. No, and I didn't mean to say it that way. Like, you guys, I didn't mean to say it that way at all. No, I was just thinking, I was like, man, LMAO, if I was more dialed in and focused, I would have managed that completely different. Netflix, if I was more dialed in and focused, I would have been able to manage this completely different, but I'm kind of all over the place, which I like doing this. And I'm just like, man, I'm still like envious of some people that can balance their trading and the teaching. I'm just envious of that. And there are some people that just can't do it. And I'm starting to realize, like, maybe I just can't balance the education, the teaching, the one-on-one, and the trading. And so everybody else's solution to that is by actually not giving you as much as their time, from what I've noticed. Like, they'll actually not even trade live with their team because they want to focus on their trading with no distractions. They will completely shut down. They will just shut down and they will focus on their trading for 2 hours and then come back. I'm like, wow, that's nuts. Yeah, market sucks today. Market sucks today. But yeah, just it blew my mind. Blew my mind. I'm still out here thinking, you know, the balance. And it may just come to the point where I just finally just soak it up. I've said this like 10 times to you guys. But it may just come to the point where I just soak it up, cock it up, and just say, you know what, I'm done trading. Because I just can't trade and teach. I can't balance it. It's tough. It's tough. But I love them both. I love them both. And it's an emotional thing for me. It's a very touchy subject. So you got RDHL down at 67 cents, right? RDHL down at 67 cents right now at this point in time. And so that's an area, that's the lowest level you want to see the stock go today, right? That is the lowest level that you want to see the stock go today. You know, if it's still going to bounce on up. I would say you could probably come a little bit lower. I wouldn't say that's the lowest level, but I would say that's the strongest level. That's definitely the strongest level. You definitely don't want to see the stock go much lower than that. I'll be right back with you guys in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna go grab a drink of water. All right, I'll see you guys in a sec.
I can't let you go. There's no way. I'm already still burning. So hold me close, now baby. I do what I'm told. Still learning to take my chances, to take my time. To keep on dancing, to walk that line, yeah. You got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing. You're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride. Look into my eyes, say you're ready to go. $1 million life, yeah. We could roll the dice. Act like you surprised, but you already know. Oh yeah. Got lucky overnight. around you, 'cause I can't go home without you. And my heart just vibe with you, babe. Wanna go sky high with you, babe. Gotta bring you close to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you that you're my lucky strike. And I got to tell you, if you didn't know, then I got to tell you, you're my lucky strike. Cooler than cold, I'm all in. So load up the dice, so heavy. The way that you roll, I'm falling. So I never fall. I'm ready to take my chances, to take my time, to keep on dancing, to walk that line. Yeah, you got me shifting the paradigm. No longer wishing, you're my lucky strike. Love the way you ride.
All right, we're back. See what we got going on. Let's see if there's any opportunity. And see if we can get you guys continuing to lock in some profits inside of Profit Chat. So far, good job. Catherine got a 332 on Netflix. Jose grabbing nice profits today. You know, about $500. Good stuff. Mr. G coming in, locking in some great profits. George from the NYC. Nice $90. Way to get after it, guys. Way to come in. Way to rock and roll. AMPX is, I think it's halted. No, it was halted. We are live now on AMPX. Yeah, guys, we're just kind of sitting back watching and waiting to see where the next best opportunity is, right? CABA above 115. RDHL above 67 cents. That's that strong support level. COMS. I'm seeing that little possible cup and handle there for sure. I'm seeing that little possible cup and handle there over on Netflix at this point in time. Absolutely. And again, just slowly grinding its way on up to the 200 SMA right now at this point in time. So Netflix has room to that 282 level, guys. Nice little cup and handle formation. They're on Netflix. So again, we have any kind of short opportunity coming on up. We would want to wait for Netflix to get up towards around the 200 SMA and then start to set on up. The new support right now is going to be, go ahead and pull that up right at 277. So prior resistance, new support. Again, resistance right now, 282. I'm sorry, 281.85. So it's 281.85 is your 200 SMA here on Netflix. Still watching the SPY right around that trend line. You see, the first time we come up with the trend line, we got rejected. Now we're back up towards around this trend line. Just curious to see if we start to get rejected again. SOBR right now. We'll take a look at SOBR. And, you know, SOBR starting to curl up a little bit here. You're starting to get that little bit of a curl here. Back above the VWAP, back above the 9 EMA. So yeah, you know, definitely SOBR. You got to be mindful though. You got a lot of resistance there at 336. So I know it's starting to kind of curl back up just a little bit. I know you say you got a little bit of a downtrend that's trying to break. Yes, be very mindful. You got a lot of resistance right around that 335 to 340 area. And then when you put it on a 4-hour time frame as well, every time it spikes up, it likes to give a lot back. Spikes on up, gives a lot back. Spikes on up, gives a lot back. Spikes on up, gives a lot back. And every time it spikes on up, it puts in these lower highs. So be mindful that it could spike on back up today and start to give a lot back. But if we ever do start to break this higher time frame downtrend, that's when we could really start to take on off to our 200-day moving average, which is at 432 here on SOBR. Yep, so SPY's getting above that trend line now. So now that SPY is potentially regaining that slight uptrend, right? Potentially regaining that trend line. You may want to think about playing calls to 345 if we actually see the confirmation that we're above that trend line. Because even when you throw it into a 15-minute time frame, right, you see here that it's not really above the trend line. You put this on a 1 minute, right? You're not above it either. You were starting to get above it, but you're not technically above it. You start throwing it on those higher time frames, you really see how clear that is. That again, we're not yet really back above that trend line to regain it as support. Now the Qs are, right? You put the Qs on the higher time frame, the Qs are getting above that trend line. The Qs are really starting to rocket and really starting to take on off. The SPY though is kind of struggling a little bit. But again, the Qs are starting to rally. The Qs are starting to really take on off here. Hey, we could definitely see the SPY start to rally and really start to take on off as well. So again, Netflix, where do I see Netflix going? 281.85. 281.85. Everything across the board right now is doing really good. All right, everything right now having a decent little day. You know, you got a lot of stocks coming back into the resistance levels, though. You got to keep in mind. You know, take a look at NVIDIA coming back into one of its major resistance levels. You know, you take a look at the Qs, at the 20 EMA. You're just kind of across the board. Apple coming into its 20 EMA. AMD. You know, you got a lot of these stocks that are moving up pretty well, but coming back into a lot of their resistance levels at this point in time. And, you know, we want to play these long. That's an area that we need to wait to see it break. Give me 1 second, guys. Just 1 sec. All right, cool. We're good. All right. So do we have any questions right now at this point in time, guys? Market's a little slow. All right. What about 285? Again, you got to look at the 200 SMA. Okay. 200-day moving average here. Okay. That's going to be one of your stronger levels of resistance. Okay. And that's going to be at 281. Yeah. 281.25. 281.25 is the 200-day moving average. And that's going to be where you see a lot of resistance. Now, if we break that level, could we get the 285? Absolutely. 100% we can. However, we need to be very, very mindful that the 200 SMA is one of the strongest levels of resistance or support for stocks. And we haven't been anywhere close to that 200 SMA for a very long time. So the first attempt to get through the 200 SMA is going to be a bit of a challenge, because you think about longs from a trading psychology standpoint. Everybody that's long on this from yesterday, or 265 or 267, 270, where do you think the majority of traders are going to be looking to take profits if they're long on this? Well, the majority of traders see the 200-day moving average, right? That is the nearest, most strongest level of resistance coming on up. So the majority of traders that are in this long, swing trading, day trading, whatever the case is, or individuals that just want to trim this as it's up 15, 16% at this point in time, they're most likely, the majority, going to do that around 281.25, right around that 200-day moving average. On the first attempt, you'll probably see it pull back a little bit. But if it ever breaks that level, that shows a lot of strength. That tells us that there's more buyers than sellers in the market. And then absolutely, it could get towards around 285. But that 200 SMA is going to be pretty strong. So again, right now, team, there's just not a lot happening with small caps. You got a little bit of that bounce at 67 cents with RDHL. Now, COMS may start to get a little bit of a break of this downtrend coming on up, right? If you take a look at COMS, you got back above that 12-cent level of support, right? So you did break above it. You came back below it, back above it. Now you may have your higher low formation here, right? Your higher low formation here for the break of this downtrend, for the next leg back up to high day, and then 14 cents. So watching COMS, RDHL, CABA, and SOBR, there's just not a lot happening here, guys. So right now, guys, Really about it. SPY kind of sitting sideways around that trend line. The Qs had no issues. Still grinding their way on up. Still waiting for that Netflix short position right around that 281 level. If we ever break the 200 SMA, you really look at this daily chart, you got 300 next, and then 330 to fill that daily gap here on Netflix. So now I'm just kind of watching AMPX here. AMPX, nice big rip on up, pulling back a little bit into this daily 20 EMA at 811. Just curious to see if it's going to hold on up, if it's going to get any more action to the upside, or if it's just going to dump on off. Here on AMPX, guys. But again, there's just not really too much going on here in the market, which is unfortunate. So right now, Q's pulling back here a little bit. SPY pulling back off that trend line as well. I don't see anything yet here as far as a trade goes on the SPY or the Q's. All right, put a little bit of a trend line here on the SPY. We'll keep that level on watch. Q's. Maybe put a little trend line on here that you're cracking, but that's a pretty steep one. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that. All right, guys. If we don't have any questions, I do have to jump on a quick call. If you guys are cool with that, it's not like we're missing anything right now, anyway. And it is right around 10:34, and it's 10:45. It's only about 5 minutes or so. It's just a quick little conversation with another potential coach that we have. So yeah. When drawing Fibonacci extensions, do you use the wicks, low high, or the close of the candle? I've noticed more accurate price levels based on what I charted, drawing them to the close instead of the wicks personally. So again, it's really what's respected, because you can draw a fib from candle body to candle body. You can draw a fib from wick to wick, and you may notice that on one particular stock, on one particular day, could be respecting those Fibonacci levels based on wick to wick. But then you may notice that, hey, if I actually go from body to body, it's actually much more respected on this particular day with this particular stock. So I was always trained by Brian years ago to go from the extremes. So from the low to the high. But again, you got to be a chameleon and adapt, because if you start to notice that the price action is respecting those Fibonacci levels when drawn from body to body, And you also have other forms of technical analysis that line up at those fib levels when drawn from body to body. It's safe to say that this time on this stock, this day, it's best to go ahead and use from body to body versus going off those wicks to wicks. Okay, but I was always trained and taught to go from the extremes, right? From the extreme low, the swing low, to the extreme high, the swing high, for an example. Exactly, right? Whichever one really lines up the cleanest, which ones have the best price action respected, right? So, for example, Netflix is a really good example on fibs, right? So, if we just go ahead and clear this out, create a new drawing set, go ahead and do that. At first, I'm over here like, okay, well, I'm going to go from this extreme low to this extreme high. But I'm like, it's not really being respected. We didn't really have any kind of price action when we came down to this 23.6 fib. I'm like, well, that's not going to be it. Well, that could also be a misprint, right? That could also be a little bit of a misprint, that lower shadow. So then I'm going to go, say, from the candle body to the candle body, and then say, okay, are we seeing any kind of price action here? You're getting some price action here. Look at that. You definitely got some price action at that 23.6. And then the 38.2. Oh, look at that. You got some price action at that 38.2. But I actually went from the swing low to the swing high. And we can still see that it was pretty right around the same spot. There wasn't a huge difference on how we drew this fib. So I went from swing low to swing high. Not from swing low to swing high, because that was probably a misprint. Not from candle body to candle body. I actually went from yesterday's swing low to that pre-market swing high. And what I noticed is when I mark up all of these fib levels, so I'm going to mark up that fib level, mark up that fib level, mark up that fib level. I want to see price action, right? Because if there's no price action at one of these levels, that's telling me that it's not getting bought up. There's no price action. We don't have any movement off those levels, which tells me that maybe there's no traders, or maybe there's not an algorithmic system that's programmed around that fib level, right? Because again, a lot of algorithms and algo trading systems are programmed around market mechanics, and a lot of market mechanics are Fibonacci retracements and extensions, supply, demand, etc. But I'm really, just to keep it simple, in simple layman's terms, is I want to see price action. I want to see that level respected. So what do I see here? Well, it was respected at that 23.6 fib retracement. And then we can see there was some price action here. And then we come down to this 38.2 level. And look at that. There was definitely some price action right off that level. And then what happens when we broke back above? When we broke back above that 23.6 level, right? We came back down and held it as support. There was price action there. So I was really, really liking how that Fibonacci level was being honored, right? I like how we saw honored here off the 23.6 in pre-market. We came down to the penny here at the open to our 38.2. And I was actually thinking about a trade here right as we were getting above that 23.6. And it was also a nice little break and retest. It was pulling back into the 9 EMA. It was above our 23.6. And I was looking to buy it right around that 270. But again, I just kind of missed it. I was a little distracted. I wasn't super focused as far as, having a plan built, how many shares I want to get, where my stop's at. It happened pretty quick here when I noticed it. And then I just kind of let it go after that. And then what we can do is go grab it, an extension, a Fibonacci extension, right? Because those are Fibonacci retracements. So now that we have a proper retracement, we can draw a proper extension if you guys think it's going to break above the 200-day moving average. So we'll go grab a Fibonacci extension from that low to our high to our retracement low. And this is going to give us an idea of where Netflix can go to as far as resistance. And look at that. Look at how honored this has been so far, right? We came up to that fib level, that 23.6 extension, resistance, then support. Now we're up towards around the 38.2 extension as resistance. So we can now utilize this extension because it's being honored. So where's it going next? Well, we have the 200 SMA right at 281.24. So we got to mark up 281. 281.24. That red line is our daily 200 SMA. But if you guys think, hey, it's going to go higher, well, where could it go? 283.19. That's a 50% extension. Then it can go to 287.94. That's a 61.8 extension. Then it can go all the way up towards around that 78.6 extension at 294. Why would I say that we could utilize this extension for overhead price targets? Well, number one, there's not a lot of data between this gap, right? From 250 to 330, there's not a lot of data. Now we're getting data based on this extension, right? It's kind of like when you use extensions in all-time highs because you don't have a lot to look left upon. You have nothing. We have this big gap here this year. There's not a lot to look left upon to gauge key levels of support resistance. So that's one reason I would use an extension. The second reason is look at how well it's been validated so far, right? Look at how we broke above our 23.6 and came down and hit it beautifully as support. All right, look at how we just came up to our 38.2 right here, and we're hitting it beautifully as resistance. And yes, it happens to line up with yesterday's post-market high, and then this 23.6 lines up with some lows and some highs. So now you're being able to utilize these extensions and retracements, in conjunction with just past levels of, say, support, past levels of resistance, past levels of resistance. And it's really cool to see how the market moves in a very mechanical way. Market mechanics in a very mathematical way, utilizing these Fibonacci retracements, these Fibonacci extensions, and seeing how these extension levels line up with prior movement before you could even draw on an extension in the first place. That right there is like, wow, that validates the market mechanic aspect of how the markets move from a mathematical standpoint, because everything's really based around the Fibonacci sequence. Do some research into it. It's really cool to see how there's a lot of stuff out there that has to do with the market, how it moves, the Fibonacci sequence, why it's powerful, the whole universe and nature and this and this and that. Again, it gets into something completely different, but just really keeping it simple. A lot of algorithms and programs are based around Fibonacci sequences, and those spirals and the Fibonacci pitchforks and the retracements and the extensions, and they're very freaking popular as well. So traders utilize them also. I appreciate you saying that, Kamal, because I'm going to be completely real with you guys. I'm going to be real with you guys because I need to pick me up today, right? I'm here to pick you guys up. I'm here to support you, but I'm feeling a little down and I need to pick me up, right? I feel like I got two choices. A, I can't trade anymore, and that sucks because it's an emotional topic, because I have just not been doing good this year because I put too much focus on the education and your success, which is what I fucking want to do. Okay. Then number two is, if I just want to trade, I'm going to have to do something with Alpha Day Trading. And I know that's hard to say, but these are both very emotional, touchy subjects. Quit trading and put 100% of my focus on education and mentoring and just realize that that's a sacrifice I have to make, or I'm going to have to sacrifice a lot of what I do inside of the community to be able to take on my own trades. And that's just the ultimatum. And it's tough, guys. And that's something I've been dealing with a lot lately, and that's something that's really overwhelming me right now at this point in time. Oh, man, John Boy. I got your email, man. You want to cancel? I can go ahead and get that canceled out for you, John Boy. I'm sorry to hear that you want to go, that you want to, you want to cancel. You were doing fantastic. You were absolutely on fire, but hey, there's probably a couple reasons there. Either A, you finally got this down pat, exactly what you got going on, and you don't need to be a part of a community, which is, music to my ears, that you've learned enough that you could possibly learn, or, feel free to provide me with some feedback, man. If there's anything that could have been done differently inside of the community, or whatever the case is, just feel free to let me know, but we'll go ahead and get that canceled out for you today. And you'll be all set ready to rock, boss, if you're still inside of chat, which I think I just saw you posting up a little bit earlier. So